As I'm sure you probably already know, on September 20th, 2019, over 1 million people plan on storming Area 51 to see them aliens. Obviously, every single person who said they were going is dead serious about this, and the foolproof plan's virtually guaranteed to go off without a hitch. But what if instead of having so many Kyles and Naruto runners involved in the operation, you had to build an elite party of 6 Pokemon? Sounds like it'd be even easier to pull off, right? Well, with certain overpowered Pokemon, sure, but to make things more interesting, let's say that your party can't consist of any Legendaries. At first, you might think to just pick some brutes and charge forward, but when you're infiltrating Area 51, you've got to consider everything to come up with the perfect strategy if you plan on clapping some extraterrestrial cheeks. What kind of strategy am I talking about? Well, strap into your YouTube viewing chair, demand that your dad comes clean about the Tooth Fairy, press the subscribe button if you haven't already, and allow me, the Daytime Emmy Award-winning Best Talk Show host Cameron, to tell you the perfect Pokemon party for infiltrating Area 51. Number 1. Alola Form Dugtrio. Alright, so if you're infiltrating Area 51, you're gonna need to survey the landscape. But if you try doing that with any flying-type Pokemon, it's just gonna get spotted and anal probed in like 2 seconds. And I'm not about to let that happen on my watch, damn it. So how am I gonna scout the area? Well, I already told you, it's the Alola Form Dugtrio, you turkeys. There's no way of knowing whether or not Area 51's got any type of underground radar, but since we know they've got one for the sky, a ground-type Pokemon's definitely the best bet to survey the landscape. Besides, we all know there's a hell of a lot more to Area 51 than what Google Maps shows us. So even if we used a flying type that could probably take a few bullets like Skarmory, a ground type would still give us a better idea of just how deep Area 51 really is. Not to mention, it'd probably throw the entire base off pretty hard when they're getting hit with random earthquakes. And just in case the enemy's got some kind of special tech or aliens that could quickly move underground, it'd definitely be a good idea to have the fastest ground type and 14th fastest overall Pokemon on our side. It'd definitely be a good idea to have the fastest ground type and 14th fastest overall Pokemon on our side. Why choose the Alola Form Dugtrio? Well, I think it's pretty obvious it'd be way funnier. I mean, come on guys, get with the program here. And for those naysayers who are gonna roast my ass in the comments for the Alola Dugtrio being an ass hair slower than the standard Dugtrio, just remember there's a trade-off in defense, so if Dugtrio takes an unavoidable hit, there's gonna be a higher chance of survival. Besides, while efficiency is more important than comedy in this operation, you can't pass up trading a little bit of speed if it's gonna make the infiltration that much funnier. I mean, just imagine thwarting the government with this. Plus, the dual steel type would resist bullets a little better, so, you know, there is that too. Number 2. Metagross. Alright, so we've already got Dugtrio scouting the area, but getting spotted and going into battle's inevitable. So we're gonna need something that can withstand a few shots if need be, while also being able to dish some punishment out at the same time. And what better way is there to withstand a few bullets than with a steel-type Pokemon? Furthermore, with Dugtrio spamming earthquakes underground, Metagross could become even more powerful with his Mega Evolution and attack from the sky with Meteor Mash. Not just for the guards who are struggling to walk, but also for the potential UFOs we might have to deal with. Plus, if Dugtrio loses his PP, then Metagross can start his own earthquakes as well as use Psychic. And who the hell knows what that move even does anyway, all I know is that it's pretty strong. Number 3. Vivillon. If you really want to, you could switch this out with Butterfree, but I was trying to not keep everything in the first generation. While Dugtrio's underground causing earthquakes and Metagross is taking opportune shots whenever possible, it's better to start our air raid before they get a chance to start their own. I know most of the guards will probably be underground, but something still needs to be done to neutralize the ones on the surface. And that's where Vivillon's gonna fly in, sprinkling status effects out the ass. Sleep Powder probably wouldn't be the best bet since the guards are just gonna wake up from the earthquakes. And while Poison Powder might be a surefire way to slowly but surely take the staff down for good, they might have antidotes or Dayquil, so we really can't rely on that. That's why I'm gonna bank on Stun Spore, not only to cut the enemy's speed in half, but also make the guards lose their turn 25% of the time. The main point of this strategy is to take care of any new foes coming outside after the earthquakes end, but also to drop the next Pokemon into the fray for infiltration purposes, which would obviously be... Number 4. Ditto. This one's pretty self-explanatory, but once the earthquakes die down and the guards are all either paralyzed, knocked out, or covered in their own doo-doo, Ditto would be right there to transform into the highest-ranking guard in sight and try to get as deep into the facility as possible. But I've gotta admit, this is a pretty risky plan. Because first off, if I get the anime adaptation to Ditto with the weird face, then it'll be about as useful as a used condom from a porcupine. But even if it's the video game Ditto who's got transforming down to perfection, there is still the issue of him being the biggest slut in history. So while it would be nice for Ditto to miraculously make alien eggs appear out of nowhere simply by playing with them, there's no telling if it's gonna remember the mission. And to make matters worse, what if he ends up sprucing one of the soldiers, scientists, or God forbid the janitor? Not that there's anything wrong with that occupation, especially if it's a government job, but I'm not ready to sacrifice my freedom because one of my generals is busy getting peed on and then subsequently having sawdust thrown on him. Number 5. Bisset Philon. Or at least I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it anyway. Alright, so I really wanted to have a ghost type for this invasion. Well, the problem with that is while it would be pretty useful to have immunity over any of the normal or fighting moves the guards might come at us with, the reality is that they're mostly going to be using guns, which I'd assume are steel or fire type moves. Plus, we have no way of knowing how effective alien type moves are going to be against the ghost type. But in the meantime, the best way to resist normal fighting steel and fire type attacks would be with a fire ghost combination. And not only is Bisset Philon just that, but he's also got some pretty good stats along with an ability that just might win the entire battle. With the ability Beast Boost, every guard, scientist, or janitor this Pokemon takes out will result in its highest stat increasing by a stage. Granted, it's gonna max out at 6 boosts, but that's still more than enough for this Pokemon to be unstoppable. In fact, with this Pokemon being an Ultra Beast from another dimension, you might say it's too unstoppable to include. And if it really bothers you that much, then just pretend I picked Chandelure. But Bisset Philon's technically not a legendary Pokemon, and for all we know, this Pokemon's the Route 1 Ratatat of its world. But speaking of Route 1 Ratatat, number 6, Ratatat. Oh, I'm serious about this one, but before you X out of the video and set your computer on fire, just hear me out. This Pokemon would only be useful as a last resort, and it'll only work on one individual guard or alien. But in a secret military compound with a 99% chance of encountering just about any alien in the entire galaxy, we're gonna need a special strategy if we come across someone like Jiren. Competitive battlers probably already know where I'm going with this, but I'm not talking about storming Area 51 with just any old Ratatat. I'm talking about one very specifically trained and prepared for just about anything known as a Fear Ratatat, aka a fucking evil annoying rodent. The idea is to equip a Ratatat, preferably at level 1 with a Focus Sash so it can survive any attack with 1 HP as long as its health's initially full. Doesn't matter if it's a Psychic from a level 100 Mewtwo, a direct hit from a nuclear bomb, or any kind of attack from an alien weapon. The Focus Sash will always keep him alive at 1 HP from any individual move. And since this level 1 Ratatat is so slow, it's likely that whatever guard shoots it will have gone first. And then, much to Mr. Army Man's surprise, Ratatat's gonna use Endeavor, which is gonna bring that guard's HP down to 1 as well. And since I'm sure he'll be panicking, he'll probably attack for the next move. But it'll already be too late, because Ratatat is using Quick Attack. And as I'm sure you already know, that move always goes first and does at least 1 damage unless it's against a ghost type. Some of the guards might be aliens, but the last time I checked, aliens aren't ghosts, so either way they're frigged. They could easily get out of this predicament by switching to another guard in the middle of the battle, but if I get the impression they're gonna do that, then I'm gonna hit him with Pursuit, which is a move that has priority over switching out. And yeah, Machine Gun does probably count as multiple hits, but come on, who's gonna unload a clip onto a level 1 Ratatat? Besides, the idea is to let the rest of the party do the heavy lifting and only use Ratatat as a last resort. And the best part about Ratatat is that if all else fails, we can use Dig to get our asses back to the Pokemon Center and try again tomorrow. But I'll tell you 2 people who I'd want raiding Area 51 with me are today's patrons of the day, John Polish Impossible to Say and the Stiff Islands. If you want to help this channel out like these badasses, then consider checking our Patreon out for loot boxes and silly rewards. Or if you'd rather show support by picking a shirt or mug up, then send pictures of videos of you rocking it to make a cameo like these badasses right here. What team of non-legendary Pokemon would you storm Area 51 with, though? Did I miss anything obvious? Was Ratatat too stupid? Or did I hit the ball out of the park? Either way, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll try my goddamnedest to respond to everybody. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell to see more videos like this. And if you want to help this channel grow, then simply liking and sharing goes a long way. My name's Cameron, and I'll see you next time.
So I want to say thank you to your loyalty, thank you for your support.